Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today I am here to talk about the latest controversy. Yes, I am talking about Jaws 3, the 4K release here. Is it the worst ever? Did they use AI to do the whole thing? Is it all AI upscaling? Is it bad? Is it good? Is it somewhere in the middle? Well, I'm going to break it down for you from a fan and a technical perspective here on a real quick video. And it might not be all what you think it is. So pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. All right, so Jaws 3. Everybody was excited. I was excited yesterday to come home and find Jaws 3, Jaws the Revenge Steelbooks in the mail. Pre-ordered these a while back from Groove, so it was very cool to get these. I think the Steelbooks look awesome. I like the matte finish and all that. And before I could even get it open, I had already heard the controversy starting about this release, about AI. Did they use AI for the whole thing? 3D this, and they couldn't do that, and all this kind of stuff. So immediately I had to watch it. I had to watch it and see for myself. And yes, they definitely, from my quote unquote professional opinion as a filmmaker, they used AI, but they didn't. I don't believe they used AI to do this whole thing. No, I do not. And I've also heard people say, oh, well, they used AI because it's 3D and there's two different film strips. So the film strips were probably in bad condition, and the film strips, they'd have had to go through and restore each one. So they'd have had to do it twice for the movie because it was shot in 3D and they used two different film strips. That's not accurate from what I understand with Jaws 3. Jaws 3. Now, a lot of films were shot with a two strip process for 3D. Jaws 3 was not one of those films. It was shot with a little bit different perspective. So they started shooting it one way. It was shot with Airy Vision and Stereo Vision, but it was a single strip film process. So it was like a single strip over and under. So the way that kind of works is this 3D technique uses like twin lens adapters, and they fit them on the camera, and it divides the 35 millimeter film frame in half along the middle. So it captures the left and the right eye, but it does it all in the same frame. And that technique is called over under. So like the right eye portion is on the lower half of the frame, and the left eye portion, I believe is what it is on the upper half of the frame. So that allows for them to proceed like filming like they would with any 2D standard film. So they don't have the extra expenses of like having two cameras side by side or having to double up on film stock, all that kind of stuff. So no, that's not why they would have used AI on it, at least from everything that I've researched, and you can look that up yourself. That's not why they would have done it. So, I mean, I have no idea what kind of shape the film is in. I don't work for Universal. So I have no idea, like, itself, like what kind of shape the film is in. So I can't speak to that, but I can speak to the fact that they didn't use AI because they were trying to save money because they had two different film strips because it was shot in 3D. That's not what happened. And there are some amazing, like, there's some spots in this that like everybody worries about grain. It looked like good film grain to me. Like it was naturally there. It didn't look like it was DNR'd out. It didn't look like they altered that very much. So it was like it was left alone. So if they went through a restoration process with this, They could have restored the actual from the camera film, from its negative, whatever. They could have done that. Now, I don't know. I haven't heard the specs on this. But they could have done that without doing AI. What it looks like to me that they did with AI, and somebody got a hold of some AI in it for sure. And there's some telltale signs. So for me, you're probably not going to see the AI stuff unless you're like pausing or you're really looking for it, because it's usually in the background on people's faces. And the reason that is because AI friggin' sucks at it's a sampling thing, and people's faces and hands are very hard to recreate. That's like some of the hardest things for artists to do. And AI can't do it. It samples all this stuff. So what you end up with is stuff in the background, faces in the background that don't have a lot of detail. They can come out looking like monsters. And that is the telltale. So check out, this is what I'm talking about. This is not going to be great quality because this is just me filming my TV right after I watched the movie. So check it out. So this is where you're going to have most of the issues where AI was used, and you're really going to have to pay close attention to see it. But AI has a hard time sampling and creating faces, especially when it's lacking detail. So you get like some very creepy monster looking people. It's hard to tell on here, but it just can't do those details, and it's sort of a telltale sign of AI sampling, when it probably would have just been better to leave this alone. I mean, some of these are some pretty like creepy outcomes. We'll let it go forward a little bit. You see here, it's not as bad because they're closer. Some of it I've noticed you can kind of see the faces like moving around on the faces, if that makes sense. All right, so you see like the background, the telltale on the AI is how it wants to pinch the middle of the face down and like over big the forehead and bring in the chin. There's actually a part in the opening where they're doing the ski stand group skiing thing, where it made one of the actresses and one of the actors, they look almost like the same person, because that's what it's doing. It's sampling and it's trying to recreate to me. And then they've got this big forehead and the nose gets shrunk in. So to me, that's like a telltale of the AI. The crowd in the background at SeaWorld, it turned some of them into monsters back there. I mean, they just look like monsters. Because it overbigs the eyes, the forehead, it darkens out spaces that it can't fill, and it pushes the nose down. So they look like some kind of like CGI monster face, like in the movies, like where something went monster for a second and the mouth got big and the eyes got big and stuff. That's what it looks like, because it has no detail back there and it's trying to fill it in. To me, that's the telltale sign of them trying to go back and add detail in the background with AI upscaling. That does not mean they did it to the whole film, nor do I think they did, because there are lots of scenes in this film, particularly like stuff in the daylight. Although there's some night scenes too. There's a night scene where Dennis Quaid, it catches Leah Thompson and the other guy, I can't remember his name, in the water, and it is beautiful. Both on him and his girlfriend, who are lit up, and on her and her boyfriend, who are in the black dark water. It is beautiful. It is beautiful 4K. All right, they didn't use AI on that. You can tell. That's a good restoration. And a lot of the movie is that way. And a lot of this shit that we're talking about, you'd have to pause and like look in the background, but it is there. It is there. And it would have been better off just to leave it, just because you don't need the detail of the guy in the 75th row in the background in his face to prove that you did a 4K restoration. Just leave it alone. It's background. Let it fade away. I've talked about it before. That's not how our eyes work anyway. Like if you look across a crowd at a stadium, you don't see the dude in the upper deck in the same 150 rows away from you. You don't see him in the same detail as you do somebody that's 2 or 3 rows away. That's just, so you should have, in my opinion, just leave it, and then there's nothing to talk about. Because the 4K, I think restoration overall is good. Overall, now this shit is going to bring it down. There's no question. It's going to bring it down. So you had somebody that ran amok with AI that may be undermining all this other good work that was done. I'll tell you some other things that are pointed out, and this is stuff I've talked about before with when you restore something to 4K that was delivered in 2K and stuff like that before. So you have 3D effects in here, like the underwater submersible with a little submarine thing. Well, now that it already was separated from the background and stuck out because it was an old school effect delivered in 2K, and then it was delivered for 3D. So it already stuck out as cartoony. And now that it's super restored up to this high resolution of 4K, it really sticks out as cartoony. But that's nothing that they did wrong, right? That was already there. It just comes with the territory. So that's nothing that they did wrong. So I don't want to hear anybody pointing to, oh, well, the effects look like shit. Man, that's how the effects looked. All they did was clarify them even more. So now they stick out more. They didn't do anything wrong with that. Maybe in future 4Ks with old effects like that, maybe scenes with quick effects, maybe they should just leave those in 2K. But people would catch them on that too, probably. But maybe that would keep them blended in more instead of sticking out. But then there are other things people are going to say, oh, well, they look waxy. So I think I talk about this scene right here just a little bit, what I'm talking about, and I'll come back to you and we'll talk about it some more.
You get other issues like this. Let me back that back up. Because of the 3D shooting method, you're going to get, see right here it's not as noticeable, but right here you're going to get what I call 3D pop. And you see how they almost look like they are popping out from the background, even though they're not really supposed to here. They look like they are apart from the background, and that's part of the filming process. And then the super clear 4K restoration is going to just highlight that out even more, that separation there. That's nothing anybody did wrong, though. That's nothing they did wrong. That's just, it was baked in, and so it is here now. So you'll get some of this where it looks like they are apart from the background completely. And some will probably say that looks waxy. It's mainly because of that 3D pop. That's nothing, that's not what they did. AI is not doing that. The upscaling of a 3D is what's causing that for the most part.
All right, so if you see what I mean there, like you're going to get some scenes like this because it was shot for 3D. So you're going to get, now that it's 4K, again, the subject is being hardlined in more detail because of the 4K restoration increase. The subject is being hardlined in more detail, and because it was shot for 3D, you can get the 3D pop, which will make them pop out from the background in such a way it almost looks like they're in front of a green screen or a blue screen. They're not. It's just how it was shot. It's baked in. Again, if you pick up on that, and I pointed it out in here, that's nothing that they did wrong. It's just an enhancement that comes along with the increased resolution of the film that occurs during the restoration. So, is this the worst 4K ever? This is going to be controversial, and people are going to probably talk about it the way they did True Lies. If you want my thoughts on that, I'll link that video at the end of this one if I can find it on there. Because I am on the side that True Lies is not bad, and I explain the reasons why things are the way they are with it. From my opinion, the same thing with Ghostbusters, and I think this falls into that category. I think, unfortunately, you're going to have somebody that decided somewhere to allow AI to run amok to like really make this background detailed and pop so it looks like we did something extra. And I think it ends up bringing it down. Because I think a lot of the other stuff looks really good. And I don't know about the original film strip. To me, it looks like they restored the film, and it would have been one film strip, not two. From what I've researched, it would be one, not two, the way they shot it. So they didn't try to save money by using AI instead of having to restore two different films. They didn't do that. It's still going to be the best it's ever looked for you. 3D movies are going to always be tricky anyway. So it's still the best it has looked. I haven't watched Jaws the Revenge yet. I just got this last night, and I wanted to get it out there because people are running amok with their ideas on this, and I just wanted to give you mine. Hopefully I covered it real quick. I didn't want to make this a real long video. But, enjoy the movie. If it's one of your favorites, I'm going to be honest, Jaws 3, 3 and 4, I just say 3 and 4, I rarely ever watch them. I bought them because as a collector, I'm a completist on these. I'm a big Universal Studios fan in general. And then, to be quite honest with you, I have my badass Jaws set from Blockbuster box sets. And I had to fill it out. So I have all of them now. I'm happy with... Actually, that's a damn lie. I don't have part 2 in 4K. So I'm happy to get it. Yes, there's the problems. Yes, AI was used. I can almost 1,000,000% say if not, then man, something spooky happened in the background. But did they use it to restore the movie? No, I do not believe so. So there was some good work done here. Watch it, check it out for yourself. And, let's not spend time always pausing to see what's wrong with the movies. Let's enjoy our movies. And, that's what I have to say. So if you guys have enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It does help out the channel. You can join the channel, become a AV Pop Culture family and friends member, and a pop culture icon. Just depends on what you are into down there. You can join my Patreon. I can do a lot more over there. You can get shout outs and behind the scenes stuff of my filmmaking. Like I always say, then you can tell me I didn't know what the hell I was doing either, so shut up. But we can have a lot of fun together, and some private live streams and giveaways and things coming. So please like and subscribe. It really does help me out, and I thank you all so much. And until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. I know.